Hello and welcome to Business on the Wire. On Thursday, in a shock move, Franklin Templeton announced that 6 of its debt funds were being wound down. They all had credit risk. The shutdown kicks in from the next day itself, that's Friday. Do not recall this happening even during the global financial crisis. In fact, the last time there were funds that were wound down was in the case of the Sahara Mutual Fund that happened in 2018, albeit for very different reasons. Before anything else, just to clarify, most importantly, if you hold the funds, I think as has been explained quite clearly today through the day, you cannot redeem and you cannot purchase. Your money at this point stands frozen post that cutoff time, and that stands from now itself. So if you're an existing investor in any of these funds, it means that your investment is locked in the funds. You cannot even work through the routes of a systematic investment plan or an SWP or any other of those windows. To the more important question of whether you can get your money back, as the bond market comes back to normalcy and there is some kind of appetite that returns, it's possible the fund could look to sell the assets at a reasonable value. I think that's something that they themselves have also indicated. You might actually get a bit of a staggered payment through the next couple of months or quarters. The bigger question is, when will the COVID pandemic ease? When will the markets come back to normalcy? I think on those there are no clear answers at all. So, like I said, there could be staggered payments made to investors from the wound up funds, basically in the form of coupon payments or maturity proceeds. It's very small cheer, but that's where it's at present. There's also the individual duration of each portfolio to keep in mind when you're trying to gauge when and if this whole situation eases up. So, for example, the Franklin India low duration has just 1.2 years in terms of a Macaulay duration. It's longer for others like the Franklin India Income Opportunities Fund, that's beyond 3 years. You will have to look at the duration of the specific fund that you were invested in order to gauge when those staggered payments might happen or when the maturity actually might occur. To the basic question of whether this is a quality issue, yes. For the 6 debt funds in question, there is basically high exposure to low rated bonds where liquidity is a big issue. Remember though, many of these bonds carry segregated portfolios. So there was exposure to names like Vodafone and Yes Bank that was side pocketed. That's something that was allowed for mutual funds to do, where they segregate the bad assets so as not to basically impact the returns of the entire fund itself. In fact, last month in March, if you recall, Franklin Templeton actually marked down its exposure to various Reliance ATAG and SL Group companies by as much as 90%. At that point, they themselves had pointed out that it's taking longer than expected to monetize assets. There seems to be more dependency on listed share collaterals. All that was causing stress for these issuer groups. Where did the problem really start to have come to this point? In the very near term, a few weeks ago, if you may recall, Liquid and other short-term bond funds saw a big sharp fall in their NAVs. The yields across money markets and debt papers were spiking. Risk aversion is and was very high for the banks, and because of this selling pressure, it looks like there was very poor appetite for these debt securities, and that has obviously accentuated the problem for some of these low-rated corporate bonds. What are the big problems going forth from here? I think that's the big question, because the point is, we're not talking about a little fly-by-night fund. We're talking about one of the most respected mutual fund players within the market, which is Franklin Templeton, having to take this difficult decision of winding down 6 funds. I think the first thing is that this move could lead to other debt funds with high debt risk being wound down. That in turn could mean large redemptions. It could further accentuate the problem for lower rated debt securities. Trying to find reasonable value in the near term is going to be very difficult. I would watch some of the mutual fund data over the next few months with interest, specifically on the debt side, on the liquid fund side. I think there will be some nervousness that will begin to play itself out. Defaults from corporates, I think, is the big issue that's hanging over all the the debt mutual funds is next right now. This could be a really big dampener going ahead. For the mutual fund industry, does it look like this specific sector, this specific vertical within the mutual fund industry has gotten nuked with this episode? I don't know. Frankly, I think time will tell on that one. The second thing that will happen is the RBI will sit up and take notice, as they have already. Remember, in 2008, in the global financial crisis, the Reserve Bank did come out. They created a special window to help the banks in turn fund the mutual funds. Perhaps that kind of a special window may be attempted again. I know that some of the mutual fund heads have already voiced that point of support that they want from the central bank. On the point of whether or not one shifts to other assets, I think it's too simplistic an argument to put forth. Right now, frankly, it's almost like there is no alternative for investors. You're not getting anything out of bank deposits in terms of a meaningful rate. You're really not able to invest in gold in a large manner because of how prices have completely skyrocketed over the last couple of months and years. And beyond that, I don't think there's a lot of investment opportunities present. Real estate, certainly in this environment, is not one of them. AMFI itself has stepped out to soothe nerves. I've been reading some notes from them. They've pointed out that it's a fund-specific issue. And to be fair, actually, these 6 schemes put together are less than 1.4% of the assets under the entire mutual fund aegis, but it's still 1.4%. What's important, I think, is to understand that there's culpability on both sides. For the investors as well, when you go into short duration, low rated bonds like this, when you buy these funds, you have to know that this is tantamount to buying a short, a small cap stock in the stock market, waiting for that pop to happen. There is certainly risk attached with it, and I think on that, the investors should have been prepared for it. What is not okay by me is this attempt at pretending that nothing dangerous was being played at. I've been watching some of the mutual fund heads on business channels and on other platforms coming out and saying there's nothing wrong, there's no problem, there's no liquidity issue. I think there is a problem that exists. Franklin Templeton's very, very unprecedented move underlines that fact. There is a problem in the situation for corporates. There is a very real fear of defaults, and I don't think that we should just wipe that away. Neither should we dismiss the kind of concern that this may have raised. The other problem, as I see it, is constantly putting the market forward as the metric. If the market is happy and the market is being held up, then that's okay. The Reserve Bank may well be in its place to ask why these kind of cowboy decisions were taken on some of this very, very dodgy material in terms of buying that debt, and then expecting the central bank to come in and bail it out with the industry saying, now we have a problem, please come and help us. I think that's the other big problem that really needs to be looked at, this constant need to keep feeding this bottomless pit of an animal just because you want to keep the market metric at a certain level. The other point I think one must examine is for fund managers and for funds generally. When you play with fire, risk exists. Short-term gains often get painted as skill. That may not necessarily work your way when risk goes the complete other side. So I think there are very many important lessons from here, and I think the next few weeks are going to determine how this really impacts retail investor sentiment. Remember, even when the market hit a deep dive in the equity market, I'm saying there was still quite a bit coming in by way of fund inflows, and generally the SIP route has been considered one of those stolid movers that have not moved around a little bit even with market volatility. But I think some of that goes into question, and I would certainly watch the debt market space very, very carefully to see what comes out of there over the next few weeks.
To receive instant updates on all videos from The Wire, click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. Pay to support independent journalism. Click the link in the description and choose the amount you want to pay.